It's Alirien, and welcome to our 2023 Imbolc Horoscope Tarot readings. That is a mouthful. But welcome to our first tarot reading video of 2023. I hope you all have had a wonderful winter so far, and I hope that the readings today point to you continuing to have a good winter, or if nothing else, I hope they provide some wonderful guidance as to how you can think and how you can act in the last 6 weeks of winter as we move toward the beginning of spring in March. Imbolc, of course, marks the halfway point through the season of winter. It is also considered Brigid's Day, among other things. There are plenty of other things that line up timing-wise with Imbolc, the ancient Roman celebration of Lupercalia, and subsequently Valentine's Day, and a lot of its associations are very much tied to the timing and the beliefs of the season of Imbolc. But it is also Brigid's Day, or Saint Brigid's Day, associated with the Celtic entity Brigid or Brigid, which is why you'll see associations of blackberries and early spring flowers, white and yellow and pink and so on. I'll talk a lot more about the correspondences in the wreath making video, but you get the idea. It is continuing to live as much as possible off of what you have left in your stores for the winter and just holding out until the warmth of spring brings the earth back to life and you're able to go back out and start planting and working to harvest new crop again. For this tarot reading session for this season, we are using two all but entirely new to me decks of cards. For our tarot component, we are using the Alirien Tarot, which was a crowdfunded tarot deck that I found on Kickstarter, and it is the realization of being eclectic and being whimsical. This tarot deck is based on the Waite-Smith style tarot, so it is still following the format, but each individual card from this deck comes from a different tarot deck. So they all have different art styles and they all have slightly different interpretations based on the creators of that deck, and also based on what the fictional Alirien character that collected these cards and put them together into his own deck of cards intended these cards to mean. So there's actually multiple versions of some of the tarot cards in this deck, which is why you can't really see it while it's spread out here, but you will see when I gather it back up. I'll go ahead and do that now. This is actually bigger than a standard Waite-Smith tarot deck. Normally they have 78 cards. This has, I don't even know how many. This is my copy of the classic Waite-Smith deck. This is the top of the classic Waite-Smith. This is the top of the Alirien Tarot. It's about size and a half of the normal deck. So it's going to be tricky to shuffle. I know I'm going to struggle with it. I'm not going to try to hide that. I usually only show the first shuffle. This is a beefy boy, and it will be interesting to read with it essentially for the first time in this video. I also have, and this is also, I've not worked with it really at all before this video, as our oracle component, we are using the Creativity Oracle from Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. And this is meant to be an oracle to guide and inspire creative people. So if you have any sort of creative endeavors, or if you need some, the Creativity Oracle can help you there. Or if nothing else, it can help you get a more creative outlook on various things in your life, whether or not they are creative endeavors. These are the decks we will be using. They will definitely be interesting. I am currently drinking a tea called Strawberry Cheesecake from the Red Rose Company. I've got some blackberries here, which will end up going into our wreath that I make later today. I've got a pomegranate sort of candle burning. I've been burning this for a while in my house now, and it smells lovely, and that way I don't have to worry about incense smoke this time. I'm not going to worry about too much of the typical YouTuber housekeeping because you all know the drill at this point. You've been on YouTube, you know where the buttons and the links probably are, you know about the cards, you know about all that stuff. So I'm not going to bother you with all that. We're just going to go straight into our readings. As this is the beginning of February, we are in Aquarius season right now, so we will be starting with Aquarius and thus ending with Capricorn. And we will draw 3 cards from this deck and read those with the bottom card of the deck and a single card from the Oracle. It wasn't as tricky as I thought it would be. Okay, it's being a bit kinder. I spoke too soon. That's what I was afraid of. They are slipping and sliding like crazy on each other, and it's difficult to grip the entire collection of cards all at once. It does not want to bridge shuffle at all, and I don't like the method of just spreading them all around on the table. Oh, jeez. Okay, 3 cards for Aquarius, please. There's 1. That's what I was afraid of. Okay. Aquarius has pulled, though you will have seen in the shuffling segment that they kind of all just spilled out of my hands and I did the best I could. We have the Ace of Hounds in the bottom of the deck, the inverted 4 of Swords, the upright Queen of Ravens, and the inverted final tarot card. Your Oracle card. So the Creative Oracle, there's a painting on one side and then, the guidance on the other. So this is your image. And on the other side, success. Enjoying your life and the unfolding of your creative abilities as much as possible is real success. The Creative Oracle can be taken very much at face value with the things that it says on its cards. You will truly be successful, whatever that means to you, by the way. It's very much a subjective concept. Success and what that means will differ from person to person. You set the goal for what success looks like and feels like. As part of that, when you reach a point when you can just enjoy your life wholly enveloped in your creativity and what you produce with it is a part of that success. So on to the main tarot reading. The Ace of Hounds in the bottom of the deck reminds you that you are not so docile as you may seem. You are not meek, Aquarius. You are not something to be kept at the mercy of others' wills. You have teeth and you have claws, and you can fight back and fight for what is yours, and you can defend what is yours. You have some amount of natural instinct that I think has not been allowed to flourish lately. You've been overthinking something, possibly a lot of somethings in your life, and that is causing your intuition to falter and your trust of your intuition to falter. Let go of the overthinking and hyper analyzing and let yourself be guided by your instinct. Remember that at our core as human beings, we are still animals. We have needs, we have instincts, we have base drives. They're not wrong just because they are base and just because they are natural. And often the world is much more clear when we see through our most natural lens. With that in mind, you also may need to be wary of anyone, it could be multiple someones, who may be trying to lord over you and take advantage of you. You are your own person. You are not at anyone's mercy but your own. And if anyone tries to treat you as though they own you, you need to remind them that that is not the case. From there, we have the 4 of Swords in reverse, which tells you to step out of any lonely mental state you have been in lately. You need to rejoin the greater world, be part of society, spend time with people. You need to let yourself heal from your wounds and your doubts, such as overthinking and thus stunting yourself in any forward movement. Part of that may actually involve turning inward a bit in order to recognize the ways in which you may be stunting yourself so that you can address that, and then you can move forward and address how other people may have had a hand in forming your current situation. The Queen of Ravens acts as a cosmic balance of sorts. She doles out to you what you give to her first. She is not evil. She is not cruel. She is clear and she is fair. She is a scale. So she reminds you to weigh the consequences that she may give you of actions and thoughts moving forward. She also, I think, acts as a reminder that you are not the only person upon whom the world and its events depend. If other people are being unkind, it will come back to them in some way at some time. And that essentially is all you need to know at the moment. This final tarot card essentially marks the end of the reading. It is likely, based on the fact that it is technically reversed, that you have come to some amount of knowledge or understanding that you perhaps weren't meant to have. But now that you have it, you need to accept it and move forward as best you can with it in mind. We need to understand and accept all truths, no matter how scary or uncomfortable they may be, in order to fully understand and move forward with the guidance in a reading. Stop overthinking and get out of your own head. Pisces has ended up with an extra card from each deck of cards, but we will roll with it. Pisces has as the bottom of the deck the Dagaz card, which is actually putting the Norse runes into cards, which is interesting. The Page of Pentacles inverted, the inverted Magician, the inverted Publishing Goblin, and the inverted Fountain. Your creative oracle cards, here's number 1, which reads, obstacles. Do not dwell on how you are going to surmount obstacles presently in your way. And this is card number 2, which reads, delay. Confront the natural tendency to delay the finishing of a creative endeavor. All of this goes very much hand in hand. Dagaz in the bottom of the deck it's essentially the rune Dagaz, which has no reversal. It essentially means the same whichever way you turn it. Dagaz as a rune represents day or dawn, awakening, illumination, and hope. So it is a reminder that in spite of what is being shown to you in the main reading, and in spite of how you may feel right now and what may be going on right now, there is hope. There is a dawn ahead of you, especially if you heed the guidance of these cards and adjust course a little bit. The Page of Pentacles inverted says that you are directionless. Things are really, really hazy right now. You have no clear set goals ahead of you, and thus you haven't had any follow through toward those goals because you don't know where you're going. You're kind of just going. It's kind of a mentality that comes with, if I have nothing, I can lose nothing, except you still have yourself and your own well-being that inevitably is going to be tossed to the wayside if you're just going in circles. The inverted Magician here shows a lack of balance and a loss of control, probably a bit of a forgetfulness that you are capable of achieving and overcoming all that you are striving for. You are capable of reaching the goals you set for yourself, so you need to set some. And you're capable of overcoming anything life throws at you, which is why you have this obstacles card reminding you not to dwell too much on how you're going to overcome an obstacle. Take your time and you will find the way past it. The inverted Publishing Goblin, in a similar vein, says that you are dangerously close to burnout. You've been working too hard to reach whatever arbitrary goal that keeps shifting, which is so you're working harder than you need to anyway because you keep changing what it is you're trying to do. And you're taking on too much. The world needs you alive and well more than it needs you to just work and be doing something. The inverted Fountain actually points a little bit of concern toward others that you've reached out to. When you've sought assistance, you've been given very little, if any, at all. So it's understandable that you are in this position right now because you've kind of ended up in a state where you're not getting the help that you need. So you're doing it all yourself, but because you're doing so much for yourself, the actual big picture and any semblance of a goal and thus any concept of taking care of yourself have all fallen to the wayside, and you're just working for the sake of working for the sake of getting it done because nobody else is helping you do it. You need a break. I think the inverted fountain can also represent trying to pour from an empty cup. You have overstressed yourself and overworked yourself, Pisces, to the point where you are kind of just pulling yourself apart. Take a break, decide on one goal, and take your goals and your life one step and one day and one project at a time. It seems that Aries' situation is very much self-inflicted and is going to take a lot of self-recognition and work on that in order to move forward. You have pulled in the bottom of the deck the upright Nine of Swords. Your main spread is the inverted King of Coins, Father Sleep upright, and the inverted fountain. Your creative oracle has this painting, and it is the share card. To help you make progress, it is a good idea to share what you have and what you care about. I think Aries has withdrawn a bit too much and perhaps has been a bit too selfish and a bit too self-serving in how they've acted recently, and it's coming back to bite them now. Nine of Swords is a very heavy sense of fear and anxiety, and it's a situation that currently has no solution other than giving it time to resolve and letting enough time pass to create space between you and the situation so that you have room to start making amends and moving forward. The inverted King of Coins shows that some empire, some legacy, something that you've worked really hard and long for has fallen apart. You've lost your grasp of it. And it is perhaps because at some point within building it, you were all too entirely focused on your own benefits in the situation and not enough on whether anybody else benefited or succeeded. Father Sleep wants nothing more than to remind you that not everything is built to last, and there is something, perhaps the very thing that fell apart, or perhaps your attitudes and thoughts and behavior. You will know best what it is, Aries, but something in your current situation and in your life has reached its time to close and must be let go. The inverted fountain, like with Pisces, says that the water of the fountain is dry. Somewhere you have turned to someone or something for help and have not received what you actually needed. You were given something, but it wasn't what helped. Or it could perhaps be turned a bit in that when others sought your help, you did not help them the way that they needed. I think the creative oracle says a lot to fill in the blanks here, that you need to share with others and let them share with you in order to progress and to grow and to move forward. I really think a lot of this boils down to Aries having been too self-focused and self-serving. You need to shift course. You need to address this and recognize it and accept it. That is the first step toward remedying it. And then you need to take the time to let things resolve. And remember that you cannot demand forgiveness from others. Find a balance moving forward so that you do not fall into this situation again. All right, Taurus. You have also pulled an extra of the main spread cards, but as with all readings where this happens, one extra card is not a huge deal, especially if cards jump out together. I usually assume they're meant to be read together. So, your bottom card of the deck is the inverted King of Coins. You also have the inverted Sowing Death. This is one of like 3 or 4 different versions of the Death card in the Alirien Tarot. Weird ass mystical shit. The 10 of Eyes and the 2 of Whips. Your creative oracle. Here's your painting, the imagery of which to me reads very close to several of the cards in your Alirien spread, and it reads Resurrection. Reconsider a project or recall a person from the past to resurrect an idea. Taurus feels very much like you are giving in to some sort of sense of desperation and hopelessness. So inverted King of Coins, like with one of the previous readings that also pulled it, something you have striven for and worked really hard for and built has fallen apart in front of you. And there's likely an element of corruption or otherwise selfishness that is involved there. The inverted Sowing Death card, it implies that some of the things you've buried are resurfacing, i.e. some of the things that you have cut down and cut out of your life for whatever reason, you didn't take the time to fully come to terms with it and accept it and make closure with the fact that you were cutting that out, and that is weighing on you. So Taurus, you need to take the time to find closure with those things and fully actually move on from them. Weird ass mystical shit. Which I love that this is a card. You are facing something unknowable right now. And it's not just sort of addressing this fear of the unknown that we tend to have as human beings, which is perfectly natural. It also is actually clarifying that not everything needs to be known to you or by you. And not everything should be known by you for your own sake. It is urging you to accept that a lot of things in our world and in our lives and in our universe are just gonna be beyond your grasp, either because you're not supposed to know it, or you can't possibly know it, or there will never even be a chance that you will be able to consider to try to know it. I'm rambling, but you get the idea. Ten of Eyes plays very much in line with it. When you keep looking for something, inevitably you are going to find it. So if the things you're looking for are pain or trouble, of course you're going to keep finding that pain and that trouble. And that constant search for and exposure to all of the troubles and sorrows of the world is just going to keep weighing on you and taking its toll on you, even though you most likely have very little power in any of those situations. Much like weird ass mystical shit is telling you to accept and let go of the things that are outside of your grasp. One of those things that's out of your grasp is being able to change and fix every single situation in the world that is painful, that is sad, that is wrong in your opinion. You just need to accept that things are out of your power. Not everything can be known to you, not everything can be fixed by you, and just being guilty or sympathetic to other people's situations doesn't fix them. Accept the things that you cannot change so you can move forward a bit more secure in your own personal mental and emotional well-being. The Two of Whips symbolizes someone who tends to abuse the power they have, even if it's very, very little. It's someone who is in a position within some sort of a hierarchy. They're not the top of it. They are definitely somewhere in the middle. And they're so bitter and jaded with their position that whenever the people above them and the hierarchy in general and the way it's built has done things that have ended up hurting them, they turn around and do the same thing to the people that they have authority over. And it's this repetition of a vicious cycle of bullying. And it's perhaps this falling apart and this things coming back that you didn't find closure with. I think one of your reactions, Taurus, has been to just be bitter about the whole thing and see all the ways in which you have been affected, but not necessarily realize why. And you maybe are starting to take it out on the world, and that's not very fair, is it? You need to address those things. Accept that not everything is within your power to change. You need to focus on the things that you do have power in and using your power for the better in those situations. And of course, the creative oracle is very cut and dry. Reconsider a project or recall a person from the past to resurrect an idea. There is something within your past, perhaps one of the things that's been coming up with the sowing death, that you do actually need to revisit and either go back to it with a fresh set of eyes or just start over with the very most basic concept of what it was. But take some time to sit down and find closure with these things, with all of this, and just address your own mental state so that you're not personally absorbing the troubles and the sorrow in the world and then taking that out on other people because you're so distraught over the fact that you can't fix everything. Gemini has pulled the Moon as the bottom of the deck, Reborn Death, the Tower, Queen of Pentacles inverted, and Riding Death inverted. Here is your creative oracle. Time. Time can be seen to be both linear and a spiral. Circle back to explore concepts from the past and create the future. 2 deaths in a tower is a lot, but let's start with the moon, which typically is associated with mystery and illusion. Be careful not to take everything the universe gives you as a potential sign or potential guidance at face value, which is a little ironic considering you're sitting here watching this video, which probably means that the universe is guiding you to take guidance from this reading. But further, I think what it truly means here is you have two death cards and the Tower card, which all, on their face seem like really negative cards and like really bad things. There are deeper meanings to these cards, and likewise, things in your dreams often have deeper meanings. Don't take the things that pop up in your dreams too literally. That's what dream interpretation is for, and that's what, symbolism and studying the symbolism is for. You need to have a healthy sit down with your intuition as well in order to know what path to take and how quickly to take it. The Death and Rebirth card reminds you that for every ending there is also a beginning. So whatever things have ended for you recently, they were not the end for you. You are still alive, you are still here, you have the power to move forward. The decision to continue moving forward in spite of those endings lies with you. So it is now up to you to rise from your ashes, so to speak. The Tower in this deck still represents that there is some sort of sudden and destructive change that is currently happening or is imminent for you, but this change has not happened yet, so you still need to be ready for it. What you need to focus on right now is overcoming your fear of this change. The fear will subside. You will not be taken out by this change. You are going to keep going. And that's what death is telling you. No matter what happens with this Tower, you will still be here, you will still be breathing, you will be stronger for having survived it, and you will be able to pick up what's left of yourself, rebuild, and keep moving forward. Inverted Queen of Pentacles cautions you against being too greedy and too stingy with your resources and your abilities and skills. There's no room for love in a greedy heart because it's holding so tightly to everything else. Riding Death inverted is also an omen of change, but it also reminds you that everything can change in the blink of an eye. Literally nothing in our lives is guaranteed. Thus, you should take nothing in your life for granted and cherish all that you love as much as you can while you have it, without being so attached that you are devastated every time you have to let go of something. Playing into this, like I said, the Creative Oracle is a bit of deeper look at the concept of time and how time, as far as we're concerned in our mortal human lives, is quite linear. That said, time is often very cyclical and repetitive, either because we as humans were not wise enough to learn from the past to prevent repeating it, or because our tastes just keep going in similar directions, and we can learn from things in our past in order to better prepare ourselves for the future. Reflect on your past, consider all aspects of something before you dive in on its face value. Don't be so stingy with what you have to offer to the world. And remember that whatever is coming to you, you will survive, thus you will be stronger, thus you can keep going. All right, Cancer. You have pulled in the bottom of the deck weird ass mystical shit. Your main spread is the Empress, Eight of Wands in reverse, and Giuseppe in reverse, though technically he does not have a reverse, so I'm gonna flip him over. And your creative oracle cards are Dream, connect to your intuitive dream world of metaphors and symbols. Here's the image. I quite like this one. And Nurture. For self-care, try loving and nurturing yourself as you would a child or a pet. As in the previous reading that pulled, WHAMS, I'm going to call it for short. Through all of this, you need to accept that which is out of your grasp, that which you have no control over and don't even technically have the authority to decide whether you know about it, whether you understand it, whether you should know it. That said, the Empress is emotional freedom and divine feminine wisdom. It is knowing how to enjoy the most in life and enjoy life as much as you can. But this doesn't come for free. The Empress has been through a lot in her life. She has scars from growing and learning and experiencing things, and it's in learning those lessons and experiencing those things that she learned how to make the most out of life, how to tell the difference between when to say yes more please and no more thank you. Those scars are part of what make her beautiful because they're evidence of the growth and the wisdom that she has earned in her life. The inverted Eight of Wands cautions you against self-destructive behavior. These two together essentially lead you to the same conclusion, that you need to learn to make the most of life without hurting yourself. There's some sort of limited opportunity, the limits of which you haven't fully realized, and you are in a... Sorry, I have a kitty cat right here. You are currently in a situation where if you chase after this particular opportunity, you will end up being burned as a result, because it's going to end before you realize it and you're going to be left high and dry. So avoid being self-destructive by chasing every potential opportunity. The Giuseppe card is an interesting one. It's essentially reminding you of the full amount of possibility that life holds for you. It represents the blooming of possibility and of friendships. It also, so it's designed like a Pokemon card or a Yu-Gi-Oh card, where it says to draw 3 cards from anywhere. If they do not bring you happiness, put them back where you found them and draw 3 more. Repeat as many times as you would like. If any other players are looking or feeling left out, share some cards with them. So the idea is that you, while not everything's in your grasp, you do have some power over your own happiness and your own fulfillment and how much potential you have. I am going to draw 3 cards, but I invite you as well, Cancer, if you have any deck of cards laying around, it can be just playing cards, tarot, it can be oracle, whatever it is, go grab it and just draw 3 cards, and if you like them, keep them, have fun interpreting what they are. You can do an oracular style reading with regular playing cards, you know, the hearts and spades and things. And if you don't like the cards you draw, you can put them back and pull again until you're satisfied. The inverted 3 of books. There is a teaching downward happening that is wholly inappropriate. The one being taught is no fool. The one doing the teaching must come to terms with the fact they are no better a person than those they teach. The Page of Pentacles. First steps into material stability, whether it be friends, items, money, or otherwise. The first step is laying ground, the beginning of developing a plan, setting up future prospects, and spotting the possibilities ahead. Blooming of possibility. A hopeful card. Good news lies ahead because you took the time to look before setting down your roots. Basically, thinking before acting will earn you a reward. Inverted 7 of Pentacles. Poor management of crop. The world is not so perfect that things will always work out when we try hard, but you know the difference between your success and your failures when it's your fault alone. So further emphasizing that you are in control of how a lot of this plays out without necessarily realizing. Remember that you're not any better or more powerful than anyone else around you. Remember that nobody else is truly better than you and more powerful than you. We're all human, we all make mistakes, we all have so much opportunity and possibility right in front of us. So just think ahead and remember how much possibility there is for you. Be kind to yourself as you would be to your own children or pets, for children count, as my Chica lump purrs next to me. Listen to your intuition on everything. And again, just remember that not everything is within your grasp physically or mentally. Worry about the stuff that is. Leo has pulled the inverted 8 of Wands as the bottom of the deck, the upright 3 of Books, upright King of Coins, inverted 10 of Eyes, and as your creative oracle, you have the same card as Aquarius, which is this image. Success. Enjoying your life and the unfolding of your creative abilities as much as possible is real success. So the Creative Oracle seems to play a bit hand in hand with the King of Coins here, but I'll go over the rest of the cards. Inverted Eight of Wands, like with Cancer before you, is warning you against self-destructive behavior and to be careful of limited opportunities that will end before you jump into them and leave you high and dry if you chase after them. Upright Three of Books tells you that you need a bit more control over your more base, animalistic, instinctual part of yourself. Essentially, your instincts need to learn more manners. King of Coins reminds you that hard work will pay off in the long run. Once you work for the things that you're trying to achieve and you achieve them, you can sit with them and enjoy them, and just be careful not to spend everything you've earned so quickly that everything falls apart again. Inverted Ten of Eyes says that you're maybe ignoring reality a little too much. I think perhaps part of what's happening is your head is a bit in the clouds and you've just been jumping at opportunity every time it comes up, and I think that might lead you to getting burned in the end because you're going to end up taking the wrong opportunity that's not right for you, or you're going to take too much on. And I think just in general, a bit more of a realistic approach to what you're capable of and what your limits are and what opportunities can really afford you as a benefit in the end is what's needed here. You can be optimistic and also be realistic. These aren't mutually exclusive concepts and mindsets. It is always good to be optimistic and think that things will work out well in the end and have hope. It is also good to always have a realistic mindset about what is truly plausible within the optimistic possibility. I think that's pretty cut and dry. Virgo has pulled the Six of Swords, the High Priestess, the Queen of Pentacles, the Inverted Tower. Your creative oracle is Muse. Seek out or act as a positive, inspiring, and helpful muse to another's creativity. Creative oracle, pretty simple. You are in need of a muse, or your story and your journey are meant to inspire others. The Six of Swords as your bottom of the deck. The main focus for you right now is a difficult journey that you must embark on for self-transformation. You're going to need to get out of your comfort zone and step away from what you know in order to go down this path. It will be difficult, but it is important in the long run. Along this journey, the High Priestess, who is divine knowledge and truth and intuition, reminds you to think before you act at all times, and also remind you that you do not always know best right away. Do not ignore her counsel. There is more to the situation than you have perhaps realized. The Queen of Pentacles is someone who uses abundance to help others. She is warm, she is caring, she is supportive, and she knows that everyone else around her is capable of the same. You are capable of this warmth and this support, even right now, however you feel. The Inverted Tower is the one hiccup here, in that somewhere along the way, and the Six of Swords has already hinted that this is going to be a difficult journey, but there's going to be a severe upheaval ahead. It will be very, very hard and very, very difficult. And there's not much that you can do at this point except know that it's coming and be ready. You face a difficult path, but you would not be faced with this journey if you were not capable of getting through it. Libra has pulled the Inverted Moon as the bottom of the deck, the Horizon, the Two of Wands, the Inverted Hierophant, and your creative oracles, Sacred Space. Use beautiful art, music, and creativity of all kinds to put you into a sacred space. And Contest. Be yourself fully, and you are without compare, a true winner of the only contest that matters. I think the creative oracles speak for themselves. Use art and creativity to make a space for yourself that you hold sacred and that is special to you, and where you can take time to escape from the world every now and then when you need a break. And be yourself no matter what. Don't let others convince you that you are too much. You are not extra. They are perhaps just basic, to put it in very modern terms. Do not feel compelled to bow to others who would ask you to be less. The Inverted Moon says that your overall focus right now is a heavy burden and just feeling lost. You're struggling to discern the truth from the lies. You're struggling to discern what is intuition protecting you and what is paranoia overthinking things and being overprotective of you. And I get it. It's hard. Your counsel within that to navigate this, the horizon, is reminding you that your situation may look worse now just because of the timing and the position in which you currently sit. One thing that is required is that you either let some time pass for things to hopefully look a little bit better, or find a way to change your position and your perspective. Whichever one you take, just know that your situation is probably not as hard and as painful as it currently looks and feels. Revelation is begotten of enlightenment, not disaster. The Two of Wands urges you to plan. Whatever idea you have in front of you that you want to embark on. While many things in life can be as simple, especially even when taking a trip, it can be as simple as just packing a bag and going and seeing where life takes you. But with the goal you have in mind, very likely it's going to require more than that to actually see it through and to succeed. You need to make a plan, you need to follow through on that plan, and you need to trust the process. No matter how hard or confusing things get in the middle of everything, don't give up the second things start looking harder or less attractive than they are supposed to in the final product, because you haven't reached the end yet. Trust the process and let yourself get all the way from point A to point B. Honestly, it's probably more like point A to point Z, and there are several stops along the way. Make a plan and see it all the way through. The inverted Hierophant, kind of along with the inverted moon, is warning you against taking everything everyone says as truth to be truth. You, Libra, are probably already way more familiar with this concept than a lot of people, but you need to be critical of everything that other people tell you, especially if they are adamant that it is truth. Often the more adamant people are that something is true, and the more wanting they are of you to believe that truth without checking into it yourself, the more likely it is that it is not as true as they want you to think it is. Be critical of all, look deep, and consider pros and cons and all of the details for yourself. I think your current situation will improve given the time for it to improve and for your own perspective of it to improve. This could just be a matter of you needing a better perspective and time to get yourself there. And I think also making this plan and forging ahead with it will help to improve your perspective and help you feel a little less lost. Scorpio has pulled the High Priestess, the inverted Emperor, the Five of Swords, also inverted, the inverted Six of Cups. Your creativity oracle. Image 1 with the peacock is growth. Feel open, willing, and proud of your desire to explore new opportunities for self-development and generosity. You can afford to be generous with the gift of your time and attention. These, again, pretty self-explanatory, so I will focus on the main spread from the Alirien Tarot. The High Priestess, as with a previous reading where it was upright, though in this case this is your biggest focus and your main theme right now for the season of Imbolc. Divine knowledge and truth. Scorpio, you need to follow your intuition on a lot of what you face right now. Your situation, there's probably some things that haven't quite come to light and you need to do what you can to figure them out. But if nothing else, you need to take time to think through everything before you act on anything or speak on anything. The inverted Emperor is warning you that in some part of your life, something is being so rigid that it's actually at a risk of breaking and falling apart. It's not the kind of rigidity that comes with well-forged and tempered steel, like a sword would be. It's actually the kind of rigidity of cast iron. It seems strong, and it's intended to be strong for its intended end use. But if you do anything with it that it's not intended to handle, it's actually rather brittle. It'll crack, it'll break. Something is risking falling apart if it takes on any more stress, because because it's being too rigid. The inverted Five of Swords reminds you that victory alone isn't everything. In any aspect of life where you have to fight to win something, there is also a cost and something that is lost in the process. And you need to make sure you can reckon with that cost before you fight for that victory. The Six of Cups inverted points to some part of your life where you need to grow up a bit more and be more mature. Being silly and holding on to your inner child and being able to be innocent and take simple joy in life is always a good thing. But there is also a time and a place for maturity and being a responsible grown-ass adult and dealing with life the way it needs to be dealt with. I think your reading as a whole, Scorpio, is a healthy dose of reality. You've been, I think, a little too hesitant to face some of the more difficult aspects of life lately, and I think you need to take a moment to sit with yourself and figure out why, and then make the time to deal with that reality so that you can move forward. This will allow yourself to grow the way that one of the creative oracles wants you to, and you need to be proud of yourself for growing and opening up to growing in these ways. Remember that your time and attention are resources you can give away just like anything else. If nothing else, you don't have to do this alone. You have friends and family who you can turn to for help, and in return, you can make sure they know they can turn to you for that same help. Sagittarius. You have gotten a few cards that have come up several times in the other reading. You have, as the bottom of the deck, the Three of Books, your main spread, the inverted Boogeyman, the inverted Queen of Pentacles, and the inverted Eight of Wands, and your creative oracle card, Reflection. Time to focus, balance, reflect, and guide yourself past stumbling blocks to take the right actions. Creative Oracle makes it very clear that you need to reflect on yourself, your current and past behavior, and learn all the lessons that are left to learn so you can let go of everything else and find closure and move forward. Here's a bit more specificity. The Three of Books, like with Leo, is telling you that your instinctual side needs a bit more filter. Your instincts need to learn better manners. You need a bit more control over your baser needs and wants. The inverted Boogeyman really is just commending you for overcoming fears that you had in the past. The Boogeyman has, in reverse, is irrelevant to you because you've already figured out that the fears it once represented are no longer important and they're not holding you back. And that's a great thing. You still have a little bit of stuff to address though. The inverted Queen of Pentacles, also like one of the previous readings, I can't remember which one at this point, there's no room for love in a greedy heart. You're holding too tightly to resources or skills or abilities or knowledge that you have that would benefit yourself and everyone else involved if you were to share them, but for some reason you're keeping them close to your chest and not wanting to share. I think somehow you're afraid of losing too much if you share and open up with the world. And that is perhaps like the Queen and the books both play hand in hand here very much. The inverted Eight of Wands, like the 2 or 3 other readings that have pulled it, is also warning you against self-destructive behavior. Be careful of chasing any opportunities that are going to be shorter lived than they currently seem, and that will leave you high and dry and burned in the end. Prioritize taking care of yourself and protecting your well-being over chasing every opportunity that looks on the surface like it's a good thing for you. So all in all, reflection is needed for Sagittarius, but you're already doing well in overcoming your fears. Just need to work on that personal filter a little bit and find a better balance between acting for yourself and acting for others. All right, and our final reading for the season of Imbolc is Capricorn, who has pulled the inverted Ten of Cups, the Seven of Swords, the inverted World, and the Hierophant. Your creative oracle, like Sagittarius, is reflection. Time to focus, balance, reflect, and guide yourself past stumbling blocks to take the right actions. So much like Sagittarius, Capricorn needs to reflect at this time and learn all the lessons left to learn from everything in the past in order to move forward better situated to handle what comes next. Ten of Cups says that your other main focus focus here in this reflection is to recognize any of your cruelties that you have perhaps treated people with. If you've been refusing to share something that would have helped the situation, if you've been entirely too pessimistic, if you've been malignant toward other people, these sorts of things, they don't just affect the people that we dole them out to, they hold us from a truer sense of the world and from being able to move forward and grow and improve as human beings. Seven of Swords further adds on to that by emphasizing the burden we've placed on ourselves, by acting the ways in which the Ten of Cups has implied. All of our choices and actions and words do come back to us eventually in ways that we probably don't realize they have. However we act and speak, we need to be mindful of potential consequences. The inverted world points to some amount of stagnation. You've come to some sort of a standstill, and if you have the power to do so, you need to kickstart your world into motion again. The Hierophant card says you have been granted with some sort of knowledge or leadership. You have been put in a position of power to lead or help others. You need to respect where that came from, even if it was yourself. Respect how you got to this position and use this position, knowledge, power, whatever it is, respectfully in turn. How you've been acting and how you need to act are on opposite sides of this. Reflect on how you've been acting, try to let go of the things that haven't been serving you well, and start things moving again by being better to yourself and to others. And there we have our 12 horoscope readings for the Western Zodiac signs for the season of Imbolc. I hope that you found resonance and guidance in at least one of the readings in this video, and I hope that if you've come across this later in the season or after Ostara has passed, that you are able to use these to reflect and still get something out of them. And whatever lies ahead of you on your path, I hope you have a wonderful Imbolc season. Happy Brigid's Day. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, even if you're not into tarot or witchy things, and that's entirely okay. If you did enjoy the video, you know where all the buttons and the links are to engage with this and let me know that. Leave me a comment down below letting me know how you are spending your February and early March. A special shout out to all of my amazing patrons who help these tarot videos happen and continue to happen. You guys are amazing. If you would like to join their coven, my Patreon tiers start at $1 a month. The link to that is down below, where it always is. Stay tuned for the Imbolc Wreath making video, which is our final Sabbath wreath, and keep aiming, my loves. Mwah.